In an industry governed by rules and regulations, compliance plays a critical aspect. Hence, we speak of the terminology called auditing. Now, this doesn't just affect us from a professional perspective, but it also impacts us from a health and safety angle. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'm so excited. Welcome to another brand new episode of Plumbing 101. I go by the name of Rendani Tshivhula, aka Rendi, your number one MC. I'm super excited because we're touching on a very critical topic. But before we get into the nitty gritty and before I introduce to you our very informed guest, I think we can't break away from tradition. So we're going to go straight into the news and keep you updated with what's happening all around the world when it comes to plumbing. Sihle, off to you.
Hello, I'm Sihle and welcome back to the news. With severe floods plaguing KwaZulu-Natal since December 1st, South Africa faces a gloomy situation as people grieve the deaths of at least 40 people. Sadly, according to the SABC News, 47 people were left homeless, over 70 people were injured, and 5 more people are still unaccounted for. In light of the present situation, the South African Weather Service has issued a level 2 warning for more disruptive weather. That's all for now. Let's take it back to studio.
Thank you so much, Sihle, for updating us with what's happening all around the world when it comes to the plumbing news. But ladies and gentlemen, before we went to the news, I told you today's guest is quite informed. I'll call him one of the industry experts, quite knowledgeable about the technical elements around plumbing. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the complaints and audit manager right here at the Plumbing Industry Registration Board. He goes by the name of Mr. Herman Strauss. Herman?
Hi Rendani, hi everybody out there.
It's so good to see you.
It's good to be here. It's been a while.
It's been a while, right? It's been a while. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And I know obviously, we're touching on something very critical. We're talking about auditing. When people hear that word, they think someone who's assessing detail and but it goes a bit beyond just that. So let's jump straight into it. What is an auditor and what is the role and responsibility entail of being an auditor?
So this is actually very, very interesting, and it's something that people often don't really realize what a leading role the PRB is playing with respect to auditing. I mean, we're the first industry that really implements proactive auditing. But let me explain. Let me tell you what we're talking about. So within the plumbing industry, if a plumber goes out, he does plumbing work, he can issue a COC. I'm obviously referring to
Certificate of Compliance.
Certificate of Compliance issued by a registered PRB licensed plumber. They can issue a COC. So when they issue the COC, it's a document that basically confirms it's his declaration, the work is done, complies with the standards, it complies with the regulations. But what happens after that? I mean, a piece of paper is a piece of paper.
Yes.
What sits behind this piece of paper? So there's a whole process that happens. That piece of paper audit or gets locked on the system, so we have record of that. But then about 5% of those COCs that's been locked gets audited proactively, not waiting for something to go wrong, not waiting for a problem or a complaint or anything. We highlight it and we send somebody out to look at the work. So I audit, you ask what's an auditor? So the auditor is the person that actually physically goes out to the site where this work has been done. This is not a desktop exercise. This is a practical guy. He goes out and he physically look at the COC, what has been, what's on the COC. He look at the work that's been done on site and confirm, is this work in fact compliant with the standards? Does it in fact comply with the regulations as put on the COC? So that's a very important process and an important role that the auditor play to make sure that these all of these installations are audited. I mean, what's the importance of that? I mean, we say 5% of audits. First of all, it's more than in any other industry.
Come on. I think that's something that people should remember. 5 sounds low, but it's a critical aspect.
At the moment, we're the only industry where we do proactive audits. Especially to this extent. I mean, I can mention there's more than 50 auditors. We do audits nationwide on a daily based audits happen. So this is it's a big exercise that happens. But that gives feedback back to the plumber. Remember, if 5% of your work that you do gets audited, it means that you get regular feedback. You get regular information. Anything, new information, things that you might have missed, whatever, is you are updated. So that is maybe only 5% of your work that gets audited, but it affects 100% of what you do.
Come on.
That is where the big difference comes in.
So there's a lot of value to this. I'm loving the fact that I said it in the beginning, you know, it enhances professionalism, but it also touches on the health and safety aspect for the consumer, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah. Let's break it down in the most simplest terms. I'm an auditor, all right? I enter a homeowner's property and I'm auditing someone's work. What would be some of the steps that an auditor does, just in the most simplest form?
So if you look at the steps that the auditor does. So first of all, I want to quickly touch on something you said. You said, remember, this is about the health and safety of the consumer. And I want to emphasize that. It's important. Remember, there's a reason why there are standards. There's a reason why there are regulations. It is for the benefit of the consumer and the plumbing industry to make sure that we are protected. Well, let's not get into all the bad stuff that can go wrong. But because of that, that's why the auditor goes out. And when the auditor steps into this process. So first of all, the first thing that happens is the auditor will identify, or he will contact the plumber and tell him, I've been allocated the auditor, we're going to that site. You joining me, yes or no? Most of the time the plumbers come with, they don't have to if they don't want to. But the auditor physically, as I say, gets into the roof. If it's a geyser installation in the roof, he will get into the roof. He will physically have a look at what is there. The auditor is knowledgeable about the standards. He understands that. We make sure of that. So he can then compare it against the requirements of the standard, and he can apply his practical knowledge. Because, I mean, there's one rule, but it can be applied in different ways. So he can bring all of that to the process. If he finds something that does not comply, he will then inform the plumber. The plumber is with him. It's a quick discussion right there and then. If he's not there, there's still a system in which this gets registered. The plumber then have the responsibility to go back and fix that, correct the mistakes that is made in this installation. And that, obviously, is to the benefit of the homeowner. The current homeowner, because whatever was wrong gets corrected, and for all future customers of this plumber, because the work is done correctly from the beginning.
I love what you say. There's so much that we have to touch on, Herman, you know. Just to educate also the homeowners, it is only PIRB licensed COCs that get audited.
That is correct. It is only PIRB licensed COCs. Remember, a plumber, to be registered with the PIRB is not it's not a requirement. It's voluntary. Plumbers can choose to be registered. But the plumbers that choose to register with the PIRB are held accountable. So you know, somebody that decides by himself to register with the PIRB, to subject himself to audits and processes like that. That is somebody that takes his work seriously and commits to delivering a correct and a professional service.
Come on, we talk about accountability, ladies and gentlemen. That's the value aspect around it. But we're going to continue with this conversation because there's a lot more, especially if you're a homeowner. There's a lot more you're going to get out of this. But we're going to take a quick ad break and we'll be right back. Don't you move away. Yes, man.
Good day. How can I help you?
Hi. I'm here to log in my COCs, but I seem to be having an issue with my computer.
No problem. But did you know that you can log your COCs using an app on your cell phone?
Oh, what app is that?
It's called the App Plumber. Do you have a smartphone with you?
Yes, I do.
Oh well, let me show you how it works.
Not only can you access your PIRB profile on the App Plumber, but you can also earn CPD points while exploring the plumbing industry in the palm of your hand. Download the app from Google Play Store and join thousands of other happy users.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Plumbing 101. Ladies and gentlemen, what an informative episode, especially if you're a homeowner back at home watching this. This directly affects you. And of course, if you're a plumber and you're a licensed plumber, of course, you are aware that you will probably get audited at some point. Hence, this episode is quite important. But Herman, I want to jump into some of the responsibilities of a compliance auditor. You know, what are these responsibilities? You know, what does it entail? If you can just, educate us when it comes to that aspect.
So I think understanding the role that the auditor plays, he carries a lot on his shoulders because he's more than just a plumber. First of all, he's responsible to make sure that he is up to date with the latest regulations, the latest standards, the latest ways of doing that. And implementation, understanding how to implement this is such a critical part of this. Often when you read the standards, it looks like legal talk and it can get a bit complicated. So over and above the auditor having to understand how to apply that, you need to communicate that to the plumber and sometimes to the consumer as well. So he's got the responsibility of keeping himself up to date. He's got a responsibility to act professional to the next level. Because, I mean, this is also, it's more than just a technical audit. There's some governance processes that needs to be put into place. Understand as well, an audit is not just having a look, it is capturing data, capturing information so that traceability is there. So he's got a strong responsibility. He's got a responsibility to communicate properly with a plumber and with a homeowner to make sure everybody understand where they fit into this process. And that, as I say, that training effect. He's not really responsible for the training of the auditor, but for the training of the plumber. It's not a training session.
But there's that educational aspect.
There's an educational aspect. And they need to be able to convey that to that. And it's a very responsible process thing to do. And obviously, you need to be, beyond reproach. He cannot be somebody that overlooks stuff, that applies. I think that's a very important aspect. He doesn't apply his own opinion. He applies the rules.
I was going to jump into that. I mean, where does discretion and experience and obviously rules, where's the fine line between that? Because they have to use their discretion as well, but they are guided by rules and regulations.
Absolutely. So the rules, and again, let's be clear about that. There are legislation in place about plumbing. Whether a plumber is registered with the PRB or not, the legislation on plumbing is fixed. Everybody have to comply with that. Everybody have to do installation aligned with the standards. And that is the emphasis. That's the basis of the rules. The PRB does not introduce any new rules or any other regulations. We simply enforce what is the current rules. And therefore, the auditor, the rules he has to follow is what the law says. 100%. End of story. Where the discretion comes in is more about understanding the application of the law, understanding how to convey the message to the plumber. And especially, I mean, sometimes it happened that you can see, well, the plumber attempted to do this, but he didn't quite get it right. He can convey that. He can use his discretion on how he communicate and what he says that, and maybe give the plumber some guidance on the application of 100%. That. But very importantly, the rules are the law. That is the only thing. There's nothing more than that. A plumber, maybe let me say that out very specifically, an auditor does not have the right to impose his own opinion. He cannot tell you, you shall do it like this. That is, he's not authorized to do that. And they don't do that.
They don't. And I like the fact that we're probably going to get into this, even though auditors get audited, you know?
That's it. We'll get there.
We'll get there, you know. But let's talk about after this whole audit process is done, because it seems like, you know, there's very critical steps conducted in this entire process. Let's talk about the checks and balances. Who's responsible for that after this process is conducted?
So it's important that the auditors, I mean, they are individuals. They've got this big responsibility because they're the interface to the plumber and the consumer. But they also need to be held accountable. We need to make sure that they are on top. So the PRB has got an agreement with a service provider who manages the day-to-day operations of the auditor. So we make use of IOPSA, who's got an infrastructure to do that. But over and above that, so we hold the contractually, we hold the service provider accountable.
Yeah.
So there's certain things they have to report back and follow the processes. Over and above that, we audit the auditors.
Yeah.
We have a team of people that actually analyze the work that the auditors have done. There's different ways that we do that. On the one hand, we look at the audits that's been done. There's a lot you can pick up with stats,
Yes.
with trends of how things were audited, what were done.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of comparisons that's been done. We even go out and do audits where audits has already been done. So there's been a few homeowners that we're very grateful for allowing us into their homes yet again, because now I have to understand the plumber was there to do the work. Then the homeowner got a call from an auditor and they opened their house for the auditor to come and do an audit.
Yeah.
Then later on, they got another call from the PRB office to say, would you mind opening your house yet again? Because now somebody came out and did the audit on how the auditor did his work.
Yes, yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But, and we're very grateful, but we actually find a lot of cooperation, and in a lot of cases, the consumers are actually excited to participate in the process. But okay, sorry, I guessed a little bit.
No, I
We
love
got
the passion.
excited.
I love the passion.
We get excited about the process.
Yeah.
But it means there's such a lot of information that goes into this process. We use that information to, on the one hand, hold the auditors accountable to make sure that they do whatever they have to do. Also, the same way it's been done with plumbers, we give education to the auditors. We make sure that the auditors, where they might overlook something, that they get the latest education, that they get the opportunity to improve and so on.
Yes.
And where necessary, we have to take disciplinary action against the auditors, which is fortunately not often the case.
Yeah.
But
It
it has
happens.
happened. It has happened again.
Yeah.
But it is so important for the PRB to ensure that the level of audits is the level that it should be. That it does not digress into personal opinions or everything. We play by the rules and we make sure that it continues being a value-added process.
I love that. Herman, before we go for an ad break, all right, I don't want to romanticize this topic because there's a lot of beautiful aspects around it, but I'm sure there's challenges that come with it. I'm an auditor, all right? I call a plumber. I'm about to audit your work. And I tell you, this is non-compliant. Can you please fix this? And let's say the plumber, hypothetically speaking, does not take the advice or, feedback from the auditor. What's the accountability aspects? What are the ramifications of not doing what you're meant to do, especially when it comes to a correction of compliance?
No, the reality is it happens, unfortunately. I'm happy to say that it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
By far, the majority of cases, it does not happen, but it happens sometimes. So again, a little bit of perspective. Understand the PRB we registered with SAQA, South African Qualifications Authority. We have to play by their legislated rules as well, which includes a disciplinary process. We are legally obliged to implement the disciplinary process, which is verified, audited by SAQA on a regular basis. And it's the right thing to do. So in cases where plumbers do not do that, don't come to, first of all, when we identify any non-compliance, any transgressions, we engage with the plumber. We make sure that they understand it. We give them the opportunity to correct their mistakes. We give them the opportunity to improve. So this whole system is built on a proactive education process to build up the industry.
Yes.
If there is continued, if a plumber continues not to comply, continues to repeat the same issues and so on, then it does go into the disciplinary process where, again, plumber's always given the opportunity to counter, to give his evidence, to present his side of the story. But it can actually lead to a process of suspension.
Okay.
So if the plumber continues doing that, he will be informed, he will know what is done wrong. He will always be given the opportunity and the tools to improve. But if it continues, he will unfortunately have to be suspended. Again, if a suspension doesn't mean lifelong.
Yes.
it still gives him the opportunity to come back, to correct, commit, and get worked into the system again.
I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're still joined by Mr. Herman Strauss. Quite an informative discussion. And man, I get so excited, but I know that we're about to wrap up the episode. But before that, we're still going to take a quick break because we still have to give you that last punch when it comes to the audit process. Don't move away. We'll be right back. Yes, man.
The PIRB Master Plumber Recognition Program has officially arrived. As an essential service to society, there must be constant growth and development within this important and ever-changing industry. Developed by the PIRB, the Master Plumber Recognition Program has launched as a new PIRB designation, allowing industry champions to take the lead. Skilled and experienced plumbers equipped to take the lead, enroll today to start your journey in becoming a recognized PIRB Master Plumber.
It's an exciting time to be a professionally registered plumber. The PIRB's leaderboard provides plumbers with the opportunity to be placed onto a ranking system to see how they perform amongst their peers around the country. This ranking system enables both plumbers and consumers to identify top local plumbers and monitor their performance nationally and regionally. Consumers will always look for the best, and at the top is where you'd want to be. It is therefore very important to be dedicated to continuously upskilling yourself through continuous professional development activities. The CPD points you accumulate during the CPD program will allow you to be rated on the leaderboard as you grow. The ranking system runs on a 3-month rolling average, where you can find yourself at the very top by accumulating more points than your peers. Top-ranked plumbers also stand a chance to win prizes through a lucky draw, where winners are announced on the PIRB's Plumbing 101 shows on YouTube. Do not miss out on the opportunity to be highlighted as an elite plumber in South Africa. Start accumulating points and become one of the best. Get skilled, get rewarded.
You're still tuned into Plumbing 101, and today's keyword is all about auditing. I'm talking about quality assurance, enhancing professionalism, and also touching on that health and safety aspect. Still in studio, as we're about to draw to a conclusion with this very informed discussion, I'm joined by Mr. Herman Strauss. And just to remind our viewers back at home who are watching, he is the Complaints and Audit Manager right here at the Plumbing Industry Registration Board. Herman, I know we've been touching on a lot of informative aspects, all right? But a critical element or key stakeholder when it comes to the plumbing industry are the homeowners.
Yes.
You know, they play the crucial part of selecting the plumber, number one, and also, of course, you know, have responsibilities when they're informed that an audit process is about to take place. Yeah. What are some of these responsibilities? What do they entail, especially if they've been notified that an audit will be taking place in their home?
So you've touched on something very important even before the audit. So this whole process starts by appointing the plumber. I mean, that is, again, as we said before, this whole process applies to professional plumbers.
Yes.
Plumbers licensed plumbers registered with the PRB. That's the framework in which we work. So when you as a homeowner appoint a plumber, think about who you're appointing. You want to make sure, I mean, it's your responsibility. Your house is your responsibility, the safety of your family. Make sure you appoint somebody that is capable of doing the work correctly. If you appoint a PRB licensed plumber, then you know training is in place, all of the structures are in place. So ask for a PRB licensed plumber, ask for a COC to be issued.
Come on.
That's your starting point. So now the process happened, you've got the COC. It doesn't mean that the COC will be audited.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be. As you say, only about 5%. But if your COC has been selected for an audit, then the most important responsibility or request, actually, you have no responsibility. Let's put it straight. You can choose not to participate. It is your right. It has happened before, and we politely then agree to just pass on and not do the audit at your site. Absolutely your right. If you agree, we say thank you, and we politely ask that you just make the property available for the auditor to come and do the process.
Yes.
I think it's important to understand there's some governance processes, some private information that we have to manage and so on. So what can the homeowner expect in the process? The auditor have to, within this process, the PRB has to report back to the plumber. Before we make any information available, we have to give the plumber first the right to correct anything. Understand, there's a relationship between the homeowner and the plumber. There's a business transaction, the PRB does not interfere with that. There's a relationship between the PRB and the plumber.
Yes.
And we do not involve anybody else with that. So we respect the process. So what does that mean? The auditor will identify anything that's non-compliant. He's not going to tell the homeowner, your plumber did this wrong.
Yes.
We don't do that. We come and we inform the plumber. Say, not sure if you noticed, but that didn't go right.
Something's not right, yeah.
The plumber, who's got the relationship with the homeowner, then makes the necessary arrangements to correct that. We don't interfere in their
the boundaries
relationship.
are respected.
And that we respect the boundaries.
Yes.
So, and then in that process, what the homeowner can expect is he will open the doors for the auditor to do that. He might get a call from the plumber
100%.
if necessary. If not, if he doesn't hear anything, he knows everything was fine.
Yes.
In any case.
Yeah.
If it's happened, as you say, sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes we see scary stuff.
Yes.
Then we do go out. I mean, if we see something that's dangerous, that is a threat, an immediate threat, then the auditor will immediately inform the homeowner.
100%.
We will not leave you with we will not leave the homeowner with a dangerous installation, knowing it and say, oh no, we'll just tell the plumber about it. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But if there's some of the minor things that happen, we respect the boundaries. We tell the plumber, he will do that. And it should all be sorted that way.
I love that. Once again, as we're speaking to you, the homeowner, remember you're a critical element when it comes to this industry, because your selection of the plumber has a ripple effect when it comes to the audit process. But Herman, I want to speak to, as we conclude the episode, you know, there are many plumbers in our country and there's many licensed plumbers as well. And some people who wish to also expand from just plumbing to becoming an auditor. What are some of your aspiring words and what should these people do in order for them to fall into that line of becoming a compliance auditor?
So first of all, I would like to encourage you. Consider this. Aspire to become an auditor. I mean, get to that point. It's like, I mean, most jobs in the in the world. If there's from time to time there's a need for more auditors, then more auditors can be appointed. It is not something that you can just decide, well, I'm now an auditor, that's it. If there's no work, if there's not enough audits, if there's more auditors than work, it doesn't balance. It doesn't balance as well. But I mean, be that as it may, if you consider this as opportunity for you, think about that. What is required? The obvious thing is you need to be a plumber.
Yes.
You need to you need to understand the standards. You need to understand the legislation.
Yes.
You need to take a leading role in your community to be a strong leader in order to do the plumbing right, to take responsibility for that. If you come up to the point where we say, well, you want to, you can contact the PRB. We can put you in contact with our service provider. I mean, this process might change in the future. At the moment, there's one service provider through who we work. We consider using maybe multiple service providers. The whole model can change in the future. So by contacting the PRB, we will put you in contact with the appropriate service provider who might give you the additional training, because that happens.
Yes.
I mean, we don't take somebody just from the industry and say, okay, now you do audits. He undergoes training.
Yes.
He has to learn the rules of the auditing, understand the governance processes, understand everything else he needs to do. He gets tested on the standards. He gets training.
Yes.
The auditors gets regular training, regular updates. I mean, call it auditor CPD. To keep them up to date. So all of that will happen once you test it as well, to say that you comply with the minimum requirements and that you're able to do this. Then you can go into the pool of auditors to audits are issued.
Yeah, but you must have a passion for it.
You must have a passion for it. It is the passion is to drive compliance,
Yes.
to help build the industry. This is about building industry, making it better for the consumers, for the plumbers, for everybody out there to drive a safe environment.
Yes, yes. Herman, I speak on behalf of everyone that's watching this episode right now. It's been so informative. I keep on learning, you know. For me, when we speak everything plumbing, it's like CPD. So auditing has been a crucial aspect. And to everyone that's been watching this episode, once again, it all starts with using a trusted and licensed PIRB plumber. So to you, Herman, I want to give you your roses. Thank you so much for joining us on Plumbing 101. And maybe just one more element, one more message to the people that are watching.
I think one message. So first of all, we're happy to be in this journey with you. We're happy to be part of this great industry. It is so fantastic to see the growth, to see the positive developments in this industry. But I mean, you out there, ask the questions, speak up. If you have questions, contact the PRB office. I mean, the one thing that we didn't mention there explicitly, if you have a complaint, if you've got a COC and you are not sure whether this has been done, you've got any reason to think that this installation has not been done, we have a complaints portal. We have a process through which you can lodge a complaint and it gets all audited, verified through this process that 100%. We've been discussing to give you the confidence as well. And I mean, all the plumbers out there, use this as your opportunity to show your good work, to show how you can go and to grow in this industry to deliver a better and a professional service.
Come on, I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, he goes by the name of Mr. Herman Strauss, and he's the Complaints and Audit Manager right here at the PIRB. And unfortunately, that's how we wrap up today's episode. Very informative. I found it very educational, and I hope so did you. So from our side, we closed it off in the most simplest way. I still go by the name of Rendani Tshivhula, aka Rendi, your number one MC. Until we do it again on Plumbing 101, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Yes, man. Hey.
Hello and welcome back. It's a brand new year and that means more coming your way. Keep an eye out for the Plumbing Travel Exhibitions of 2024, set to kick off on the 14th of March. And lastly, with the start of February comes a new look for the PIRB. With improvements made across the board, your experience moving forward will be one of ease. We can't wait to share it with you. Until next time, goodbye.